National Voter Registration Day, a big priority of the league, and 14 NFL clubs are hosting Election Day activities, including LA, Houston, Atlanta, and Washington. Who better explain the importance of voting than two former players, now representatives? Will Selva, take it away.
Joined now by two congressmen who played in the NFL, Texas Representative Colin Allred and Ohio Representative Anthony Gonzalez. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us. Of course, both of you went through the election process back in 2018. Representative Gonzalez, what did you learn since then about the process that's really urging you to go out and tell people to register to vote?
Well, look, there's very few things in this world that are more American than voting, registered to vote and participating in the democratic process. And so every single event that I go to when I'm in the community, wherever I am, I encourage everybody to vote. Get out and make your voice heard. That's how we make change in this country. It's the most direct way to do it. And frankly, as Colin will tell you, we as representatives, we look to our voters to know what to do and how to work and how to represent them best. So everybody absolutely needs to vote, not just this election, but every election, frankly.
Yeah, and Anthony's right. I mean, I always tell folks that you're either at the table or you're going to be on the menu because there are going to be things that are happening in Washington, in your state capitals, in your city halls that are going to be affecting you and your family. And there are folks ahead of you who almost lost their lives for our right to vote and to make sure that you had the chance to vote. Earlier this year, we lost one of our colleagues, John Lewis, who passed away. And Mr. Lewis was nearly killed trying to make sure that African Americans in the South had the right to vote. So if he and others could shed blood for us to have this chance, then I think it's incumbent upon us now to make sure we get involved. Unlike football, this is not a spectator sport. It's your democracy, and you have to be involved.
No, absolutely well said from the two of you. Representative Allred, how do you motivate Black, Latinx, and younger voters who typically have lower voter percentages in past elections to vote?
Well, I think we have to talk about the impact that it's going to have on your life and the lives of your family members and your community, and not just talk about it in terms of one party or another party, but the real world impacts, and say, what do you care about? And there always is something, I promise you, whether it's the education system or whether it's concerns about the environment or just what's happening in the news that is a hook, and say, well, you know what, your way to get involved with that is to vote. And they're calling our votes here, so you might hear that in the background. But when you see people marching in the streets for change, understand that marching is great, marching is important, you have a right to do that, but you also need to exercise your constitutional right to vote, because that's how we really conduct change in this country.
And just adding to that, I mean, as a Latino myself, I grew up in a family where politics was important. My family fled communist Castro. We had to escape that regime to be able to experience the beauty that is America. And so it's part and parcel growing up in a family like that, where you're going to be talking about politics. You're going to be talking about what an honor and a privilege it is, frankly, to be members of this incredible country, the greatest democracy in human history. And so it's always an easy sell around our dinner table, but certainly in the Latino community for others who have come and under similar circumstances to be a part of the great American experience.
And what a great American experience to hear voting actually happening during this segment. Absolutely love it. Of course, both of you were part of locker rooms where guys were of different backgrounds and faiths. We now live in a culture that seems very divisive right now. Representative Gonzalez, what have you taken away from your experiences in the locker room that you can help spark the spirit of bipartisanship that we're seeing right now in this segment? Because we love having the two of you here.
Well, you said it. I mean, I personally think the country is starving for more people with team backgrounds who are accustomed to working with folks, no matter what background, what gender, no matter what it is, setting common objectives and moving as one. That's what you learn in the locker room. It's a beautiful lesson. It's why Colin and I work so well together in Congress, frankly. And it's something that I think the country wants to see more of.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I wish that all of our colleagues in Congress had played team sports as adults, because I think, especially football being the ultimate team sport, you understand you can't get anything done by yourself. It's the same thing in our legislative body. You cannot do anything without the support of your colleagues and without getting other people on board, and reaching across the aisle is incredibly important. I had a great time going up to Ohio with Anthony. We did a joint town hall. It's the only bipartisan town hall that was held during this congressional session. So just to tell you how rare it is that we did that. And I think, the people who were asking us questions probably were surprised that we weren't, that far apart on everything. And that, we do have shared fundamental values. Sometimes we have different ways of getting there. But as Americans, I think we need to remember the things that we do have in common, and have leaders who appeal to those things and talk about what brings us together, what unites us, because there is more, I think, that unites us than divides us.
Now, bipartisanship is great amongst the two of you, but really, Representative Allred, you tried to knock off the head of Representative Gonzalez on the field when you both were playing in the AFC South. So forget the bipartisanship for a second now. Let's talk about football. Who do you think is going to win the AFC South? Representative Allred, what say you?
Yeah, I should talk about my Dallas Cowboys, but since you asked, I really like the direction the Titans are going in. They're playing like we used to play. Great run game, great defense, control the clock. I think that's a winning formula. So, I think they had a great run in the playoffs last year. I'm excited to watch them again. And I think the Cowboys, I'll just throw in a pitch, I just hope they can start having starts to the games like they're finishing games, because I think that's been their biggest problem.
Honestly, the Titans, other than the Browns, probably have, and the Ravens have the best running game in football, so they're going to be tough. But I'm going to go with my old coach, Frank Reich, who is an amazing coach, but an even better human being. And I'll jump on the Colts with that one.
Big shock. Shocking.
All right, there you go. Just what I expected. Yeah, exactly. I was shocked by that. You got to go with it. Gentlemen, I appreciate the time and appreciate the message as well. And just remember, to register to vote, make sure to go on to NFL.com.